You are listening to the weekly podcast from Legacy Christian Church. Changed lives, changing the world. For more information, please visit us on the web at www.lvlegacy.org.
All right, I'm going to be really brief here, which is going to probably make a lot of you happy. Happy New Year, everyone, again. Yeah, and Merry Christmas, too. Hey, we're really thankful that you're here and spending a little time of your New Year's Day with us. And those of you that are visiting, we're really stoked that you're here to break bread with us and kind of hang out with our family. So, listen, we've already done communion, and now we're supping together as a family. So, we've already showed the video. So, I'm just going to kind of give you a rehash of the last year, okay? 2011, what a year, right? As far as we're concerned. 36 baptisms. Yeah, we've increased in growth in 1 year in 25% plus, almost 26%, which is not about numbers, but we are growing steadily because the word's getting out about the love that's going on here. So we're close to becoming self-sustaining as a church in under 3 years, which is unheard of. Also, it's another one of those crazy God things that God is doing. This month, actually effective today, we are almost basically on our own. We lose most of our outside support as of 31 December. So it's all upon us now, okay, as a family to support what's happening here. So that's why when we say what we say on Sundays as we pass the bucket, it's a time that as a family we give back to God. And it's not, it's not about the money. It's about what we can do with the money. Things like we're doing today to help Nicole, Nikki, and the effort for Gavin. We're able to give some money back to the community to show the love of Christ in a practical and relevant way. We ran nearly 70 plus folks through the Legacy 101, 201 classes. We have three vibrant, so we had 2 financial peace classes this past year. And those people that have gone through financial peace, if you talk to them, it was well worth their time, and it's making a difference in their lives financially. So if we run it this year and you are struggling financially, I highly recommend the class, okay? It's worth it. We have 3 very vibrant One Love groups right now, which really could be like 5 or 6 because they're starting to grow and expand. So we're going to, I know, I hear you. But we do have to split them eventually and expand at some juncture. But this is a good problem. It's not a bad problem to have. And these folks are learning and loving each other as a church family and a community and learning how to do life together, just like Eli said in the video. Do life together. We participated in the autism walk this past year. And we had the second largest team, right, in the entire group. The only group that was larger than ours was Air Products, and that's like a major, huge, big company. And we're just small little Legacy, right? But we got it. Yeah, that's what I said. We're gonna this year. We're hoping to have more participation, and we take over as the number 1 group this year. We got an award? Oh. Okay, we got a major award. So that's cool, right? We covered nearly a third of this sanctuary earlier in the year with donations for the gas explosion. If you were here at the time, we got pictures of this whole area here and back into here was covered with stuff. Clothing, products, plates, dishes, just all kinds of stuff to be given away. It was crazy. We filled a U-Haul full of items this year for the tornado victims down in Tuscaloosa. We worked with 5 or 6 other churches in the area, and we packed that U-Haul up. I drove it down to Virginia Beach, and we then packed that into a 53-foot trailer, and that trailer was delivered to the victims in Tuscaloosa, which is just another cool thing. We as a family provided nearly 50 food bags in like 2 weeks for the homeless down at New Bethany Ministries. We recently packed up 50 boxes of stuff for the soldiers and sailors in Iraq and Afghanistan. Yeah, which was cool. And if you didn't get a chance to read the letter, there's a letter out on the table from them thanking us. We gave away 5 complete Thanksgiving meals, like total meals, this year for families that were in need, a couple in our community and then 3 outside of our community. We provided 2 families locally in connection with Building Blocks also, another family, Christmas this year, like entire Christmas for their kids, which was phenomenal. You guys did an awesome job filling that tree up. Yeah. We had 2 weddings here this year. The Courtrights and the Jacksons. Miss Jackson. Mrs. Jackson. Yeah, but it doesn't go as well with the song, so I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Okay, so I'm sure I'm missing something, but you get the point, okay? We're a community that gives back, and we love, and we want to help the community at large. Not only our community here, but outside of the 4 walls. We are very outwardly focused and outwardly minded, and not just in the valley, but beyond. You know, Psalm 29, verse 18 says this. In the King James Version, it says this: where there's no vision, the people will perish. Okay? And the NIV, which is the version we use here, it states it a bit differently, but it's still a direct translation of the original writings. It says, where there is no revelation, the people cast off restraint. Okay? And the Message version, which I just love the way it reads, it's a paraphrase version of the Bible. It translates as follows: if people can't see what God is doing, they stumble all over themselves. But when they attend to what He reveals, they are most blessed. You know, and I just love the way that one reads, but they all point to the same thing. And we as leaders need to be aware of what God is doing. Revelation, okay? What He's revealing to us that needs to be done. And a lot of that sometimes happens through you. The information we receive from you and from the community, okay? And when we as leaders have to provide the information to you so that we can collectively put a plan together and in action. So from a leadership perspective, this can be challenging because we all come from different backgrounds. You can look around this room right now. It's rather diverse, okay? We all come from different backgrounds, and we all have different ways of looking at things. And so when it comes to vision, it has to be clear and concise, but we also have to allow room for God and the Holy Spirit to kind of navigate us off the path if we need to occasionally, and be open to the Spirit. And to determine if it's a roadblock, if it's a detour, or if it's a deception, you know. And it can be one of all of the above, or it could be the road ahead, right? So it's a challenge from a leadership perspective with respect to vision, okay? But that being said, we have some specific goals this year at Legacy, and some will definitely require your assistance, okay? Because we are growing, and it from a leadership perspective of just 3 people, it's tough. So number 1, we need to figure out how to best communicate with you and get feedback from you. Do we do well enough now? Can we be better? And if so, what is the best means of communicating with you? You know, we use all kinds of methods right now. We use email, Facebook, brochures, announcements up here, 77.2 videos. So we're kind of hitting you in all different angles. But if there's something we're missing, we need to know that, okay? So we need feedback. So in the next couple weeks, you're going to see a survey that's going to be inside of your brochure, and we would love for you all to fill that out and give us good feedback. How do we best communicate with you? And there's going to be other things on there, like what do you think we should be doing, kind of things, you know. So number 2, we really need to get on the fast track with developing new leaders. Since we're growing at such a fast pace, future One Love group leaders, future Beyond and middle school leaders. We need coaches over specific areas of responsibility like accounting and admin, frontline, which is the people that kind of do the greeting and the table out there, and communion and offering, that kind of thing. Facility issues, creative arts, like drama, film, music. And we're growing. We need others to step up and start taking ownership. Ownership this year is going to be a big key word for us. Getting people to own and buy into the vision and own it, okay? And make it yours. Because it's not about Mike and Nicole and I. It's about God and what He's doing in the valley through Legacy, okay? So ownership is key. You need to start praying about your specific role in this family. In families, everybody has a role, right? Everybody does things. So we need to start praying about our specific roles and start zeroing in on what that is and helping out as a family together. If the Lord provides the resources, we'd also like to hire a few positions. And it'll be our practice to hire from within. Okay? We're not going to look outside. And if someone comes in from the outside, they're going to have to hang out with us for a year or so because we want people who know our DNA. Like, they knew who we are. They know why we do what we do and how we do it and why we do it. So we want to hire from within. Number 3, we need to zero in on one or two things that God really wants us to do and become really good at it. Zero in on it and do it with excellence. We want Legacy to be known for those one or two things that we do well. When people say, when it's like, hey, children's mentoring, go to that church over there, that's the place you want to go, that kind of thing. And so that if we closed our doors tomorrow, people would miss us, okay? They would know, hey, what happened to that place? Because this service isn't being provided anymore. So we're really praying about what that specific thing is, one or two things, and what the needs are for the Valley, and how we can partner with other organizations and churches in the Valley to meet the needs of the community without having to reinvent the wheel, because there's a lot of good stuff happening out there that if we just jumped on board, it could be better and do it with excellence. I personally, and we personally believe, and this is something Nicole and Mike and I have talked about, that one of the issues we think for sure is children, the youth, and kids, okay? Whether it be mentoring, special needs, single-parent teenagers, victims of abuse, whatever it is, we need to pray about that specific area and that God would reveal it to us early on here in 2012 so that we can get the ball rolling and jump in with both feet with maximum potential. So, number 4, we're going to relaunch the recovery group program. Yep. Yes, ma'am. But this time we're going to do it smart and start small and start out as a small group, a One Love group, and begin to help folks within our community. We have people within Legacy that are struggling with addiction, and we know that. We have people within Legacy that are struggling with issues that are damaging to both themselves and to the people around them. So we want to provide a group that they can come and be safe and share the things that they need to share and know that they're loved no matter what they're doing and what's going on in their lives. You know what I mean? So, and that's going to be a huge thing. So Heidi and myself are going to be the ones putting that together, but Heidi will be taking the lead on that. Yeah. And 5th, one of my personal goals for this church family this year is to try and have, at a minimum, 10 One Love groups before the end of 2012. We could do that now with the number of people we have, but it's a commitment from people. So we're going to have to figure out how to get people to buy into it and to understand how important it is with respect to what it means in their lives. When people are showing up at these groups, things are happening in these groups that makes a huge difference in their lives. So we're really starting to figure out strategically where to place them and put them. I'm going to be starting a group in January sometime myself out in the Breiningsville area. I already have a couple of my neighbors that have bought into it. They're going to be there even though they're not part of Legacy, but I'm inviting people in my neighborhood. So that'll be, Karen and I were talking last night, it could be Wednesday maybe. We don't know for sure. But that's one, and we're hoping to start one down in the Center Valley, Quakertown area because we've got several couples now that are coming from that area, okay, Center Valley and Coopersburg, that area. So we could potentially already, by the end of March or so, have 6 or 7 in place already. But it takes time and energy and space in people's lives to make that a possibility. Because it is a commitment from the leaders that lead that and facilitate that. It's a commitment with a home because you're giving up a home or a space, okay, if you're not meeting here. So start praying about that. Start praying about being plugged into a One Love group. And if you are the type of person that you think God is leading you to potentially lead one, then you need to come talk to us because we need leaders. That all being said, though, for those of you that have been through the Legacy 201 class, anything we do here at Legacy will in some form or fashion factor in this acronym that we have called ELPC. All of these things must allow for folks to enter the story, E. Enter the story, learn the story, play their role in the story, and then eventually coach the story. Leaders, be leaders, disciple makers, and helping others in their story and sharing the story and telling their story. And it should be noted that we cannot just do these things because they sound great, okay, or they're good things to do, or there's a need identified. Once a need is identified, we, meaning us, not just the staff, okay, us as a family, once the need is identified, we need to devise a plan of action and then strive to do what we do, but do it with excellence, okay? And that requires good leaders. It requires people who are bought in and sold out and take ownership of the things, okay? Ownership is going to be key this year, like I said. We need to do it with excellence also, because if it's done with excellence, it's attractive to the people that are outside of the church, that don't know God. They see things that are happening in a good way, and it's done well. Like if we do this open mic night really well, and it's like a cool thing, it's going to be attractive. And they're going to be like, who are these people, you know? And so if we do it with excellence, we do it well, it's going to be a huge thing for us. Because if it's attractive, it's shark bait, right? We talk about sharks, right? It's shark bait to the sharks that are swimming in the dirty river. Okay? We make no bones about it. We are a church that's adamant about reaching those that are far from God or folks that do not know God or Jesus, okay? That's who we are. I wouldn't call ourselves a seeker-sensitive church, okay? I don't like that word. We are after people who don't know God, period. And how we do that, you know, is what God's led us to do. It's who we are. But we swim in the dirty river, okay? We swim in a dirty river, and dirty river swimming requires commitment. It requires prayer. It requires time, and in many cases, finances to stay in life in the dirty river, because it's hard living in the dirty river, okay? You know, I don't know about you, but I'm excited about what lies ahead in 2012. We're tackling a very tough book in the Bible right off the bat in 2012. Next week, we start in the book of Romans. Yeah. 26 weeks of Romans. You guys stoked about that or what? So, those of you that don't know the book of Romans, you may be like, oh, I don't know about that one. But it's a tough book. But it's a good book for those that are in this church, because we have a lot of new Christians, a lot of young Christians. And it's a book about how to live this life. And so we're going to break it up. We're going to make it fun. We're going to do what we do at Legacy, okay? It's going to be a blast. We've got to break it up into 5 or 6 different series. But be ready for it. And as a precursor to that, I would say start reading Romans this week. Okay? Start chapter 1 and start banging away. Stay in 1 for a week or 2. Go into 2. We're going to take 1 and 2 in 2 weeks. And then chapter 3 will be like 2 or 3 weeks. 5 and 6 single weeks. And we're some of the chapters we're doing like 2 or 3 weeks. Okay? Because they're heavy and they're deep in doctrine and theology. So, 26 weeks of Romans. Most of my friends outside of the church that are pastors, they said, are you nuts? You know? Yeah, so I am a little bit crazy. But don't worry, we're going to make it fun, like I said. 2012 is a year that we as a church family truly begin to live life at the speed of love. Amen? We need to live life at the speed of love this year. And that means ownership, buying in, and looking for opportunities to serve and to love people anywhere you are. And we're going to be really strategic this year about providing you guys opportunities to serve anywhere you are. Okay? We'll have a list of things that you don't need to go with a team or whatever. You can just do it on your own. You feel like you got time on a Saturday, go to the Allentown Rescue Mission and serve. Go serve, you know. You got time on a weekend, go to the food bank over at Second Harvest, okay? And we'll provide all the points of contact. We're going to provide you a list of names and places and people that if you got time, go do it. It's between you and God, you know. And then what we want you to do is to come back and say, and share the stories. Man, you'll never guess what happened, you know. And so it's all about sharing and telling our stories. So we're going to provide that opportunity there. But we need to start living at the speed of love. Amen? Yeah. So, you ready for that? Yeah. I'm ready. Let's buckle up. Start the ride.
We are your legacy.
Thanks for listening to the weekly podcast from Legacy Christian Church. Legacy meets weekly at 5925 Tillman Street, Suite 800 in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Stay tuned for the weekly update.
Faith that unites.
Hey, Legacy peeps, this is Mikey D, the Creative Arts Pastor here at Legacy Christian Church, wishing you a very happy New Year. Here's the latest and greatest quick hitter updates for you for this week. Starting Sunday, January 8th at 11:45 a.m., Back to Basics class kicks off here in the Legacy Auditorium. So stick around after service and get plugged into basics. It's an 8 weeks class, video-driven conversation afterwards, and it doesn't matter if you signed up or not. Just come hang out. It's going to be awesome. Please do. Later that afternoon, if you signed up to serve with Ripple, we're asking you to make sure that you're there at 3:30 p.m. Email Christine at the Live Love inbox for follow-up information. That's livelove@lvlegacy.org. Check it out. If you're an artist, poet, if you scratch, if you dance, if you do spoken word, if you anything creative that you could possibly do at an open mic night, the floor is all yours on Friday, January 20th at 7 p.m. here at the Legacy facility. We want you to come be a part of it. Heidi and Roberto Courtwright are organizing the event, so if you have information, email Christine at the Live Love inbox, and she will forward the information out to them to get them plugged in. So if you have a friend who maybe has a skill and they just want a place to come share their talent, bring them out. It'll be a good time. One caveat, it's adults only. Legacy 101 class on January 15th after service. That's right, that's January 15th after service. If you've been hanging out with Legacy for a little while and you're ready to take your next step in the journey with us here, then we're asking you to stick around for the Legacy 101 class. Food and childcare are usually provided, and I'm pretty sure this will be the case this time. Please email Richie at the info@lvlegacy.org inbox today to get coordinated for that. That's about all I have for you. Hey, we've got a lot of cool things that are going to be happening this year, and it's all happening because of your generosity and your willingness to serve and your willingness to plug in and do life in community with these people here in the Valley. So please don't stop. Keep pushing. Enjoy the message and the service that you had today that you just listened to. And if you have more ideas, this is not a one-trick pony. This is all about the team family effort. So share them with us at info@lvlegacy.org so we as a team can make this whole thing happen. We're one big happy family, and that includes you. So we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Your legacy. Faith that unites.